Welcome back to Go With Us, and this is everything you really need to know this week in Pokemon Go, running from the 1st of June all the way until the 8th. Let's get straight into our calendar now, and we're going to kick off with Monday, starting off with our Max Monday, which is going to be featuring Dynamax Inkay. Remember, this is going to be happening from 6 to 7 p.m. local time, but Inkay will be spawning throughout the day as well. Dynamax Inkay can evolve into Dynamax Malamar, but how good is Dynamax Malamar in Pokemon Go right now? Well, if we have a look at its base stats, it has a max CP of 2667, which is pretty low to be honest, an attack of 177, 165 on the defense, and its HP saves it a little bit at 200. I can already tell you off the bat, this is probably not going to be your best attacker just simply because its attack stat is too low. But always one thing we have to look out for is its fast moves. Let's have a look at its fast move pool. It gets access to Peck, Psycho Cut, and Psy Wave, which is a really good thing for Malamar because both Psy Wave and Psycho Cut are half a second fast moves, which means it's going to charge the Dynamax meter a lot quicker. So in certain tanking scenarios, this Pokemon could actually show itself. Unfortunately, as an attacker, things like Dynamax Espeon and Dynamax Alakazam are just going to be better picks. If we also have a look at Malamar as a raid attacker, unfortunately in the dark type category, it's not even breaking into the top 100, sitting in the 144th spot, and as a psychic type attacker, it's barely breaking into the top 200. That is simply because of its base attack stat, so it's not going to be a good attacker even as a raid attacker. But we also know that Mega Malamar has just made an appearance in the game, so this could be a great opportunity to try and go after that 98 or that Hundo because you can Mega Evolve this Pokemon as well and use it there. Because the new season Forever Forward is going to be starting in this week as well on Tuesday the 2nd, we're just going to quickly run through the new eggs that are going to be hatching in those pools. In 2-kilometer eggs, we can see the likes of Execute, Corphish, and Wynot. And 5-kilometer eggs, we can see Riolu, Mantike, and Flittle. If you do want to know the Adventure Sync reward eggs, so far we know it's going to be Tyrogue, Sableye, and Budew. In 7-kilometer eggs, which you can only get from opening gifts from friends, we can get Alolan Diglett, Galarian Corsola, Galarian Darumaka, and probably more of the Galarian types. Please remember as well, you can also get 7-kilometer eggs from Mateo. Those are going to be hatching different regional Pokemon as well. You can get Hisui and Growlithe, Hisui and Sneasel, as well as White Stripe Basculin form. Please remember that the White Stripe Basculin at some point will be able to evolve in Pokemon Go, evolving it into Basculegion, which is a water and ghost type, and that actually has a male and female form, which has some pretty solid stats. So let's see what that could look like in the future. The other quick thing I just want to mention about these Mateo 7-kilometer eggs is that don't forget about pinning your postcards to get more Scatterbug encounters. Remember that the gift Mateo gives you is actually coming from a different region entirely. So there's two big pluses here. You can get a postcard from that specific Scatterbug region to eventually get the Scatterbug encounter, but the other thing I want you guys to remember as well is that all of these 7-kilometer eggs, including Mateo's 7-kilometer egg, is coming from a different region. So once you hatch that Pokemon, I want you to put it in a trade folder, because if you trade those Pokemon, it's going to be traded from the distance of where the egg was actually spawned. So this is really going to help you with that pilot medal, which requires you to trade a huge distance in order to get it. This is a massive tip to acquire that platinum medal. And then in 10-kilometer eggs, we can see Mawile, Absol, and Frigibax. And then in 10-kilometer Adventure Sync eggs, you can see Bagon, Dredagon, and Drampaw. But what 5-star raids are coming this week? And let me tell you, June is looking a lot better than May. First of all, we have Reshiram making its return on the 3rd, and it's going to be in raids all the way until the 9th, which is fantastic. Reshiram is a brilliant Pokemon in Pokemon Go. It has a max CP of 4565, an attack value of 275, a defense of 211, and a stamina of 205. Just as a straight legendary Pokemon, these are really promising stats. The 100% IV for this Pokemon is going to be 2307 and non-weather boosted weather, but in windy and sunny weather, because of that dragon and fire typing, it's going to be 2884 for that Hundo CP. If we have a look at its move pool very quickly, we then can determine how good it is in Pokemon Go right now. Its fast moves are going to be Dragon Breath and Fire Fang, which are really good moves to be honest, and its charge attacks are going to be Crunch, Draco Meteor, Overheat, Stone Edge, but the big one you want on this Pokemon is going to be Fusion Flare. As you can see, there's a little star next to Fusion Flare. That means it is a legacy move, which means you are going to need an elite charge TM to get Fusion Flare on this Pokemon. Honestly, it is crucial to have Fusion Flare in this Pokemon, and what Fusion Flare does as a fire type attacker to this Pokemon is massive. It actually becomes the 6th best fire type attacker in the entire game, which is incredibly impressive, and even as a dragon type with Dragon Breath and Draco Meteor, it's in the top 30, currently at the 30th spot. And it doesn't end there for Reshiram, because right now in the Master League, this Pokemon has stood the test of time, currently always breaking into the top 10, and if it's not, it's just sitting outside of the top 10. Please guys, make sure to get yourself a good Reshiram. What mega raids are going down this week though? It looks like it is going to be the last few days of Mega Medicham that's going to be in raids, and then coming in also on the 3rd, we are going to see the return of Megaaudino, the fairy and normal type mega Pokemon. Let's have a look at its base stats. It has a max CP of 2853, which is not great. It has an attack value of 147, which I can tell you immediately now as well, this is not going to be a good raid attacking Pokemon. However, if we have a look at its defensive stats, it's sitting at 239 and 230. Unfortunately, as a normal type attacker, which we would never use because normal types can never do super effective damage, it's only the 83rd best Pokemon, and in the fairy type category, it's only a little bit better, sitting in the 80th spot. This is not a raid attacking Pokemon. It's definitely more of a shiny hunt, a dex filler, but most importantly, you want to get this Pokemon to Mega Level 3, because having a Mega Level 3 normal and fairy type is actually very valuable, because fairy type Pokemon don't really spawn that frequently in the wild. So whenever a fairy type event comes around, you can have this Pokemon ready to go at Mega Level 3, so you can Mega Evolve it in the background, so you can get a lot of candy as well as XL candy to really take advantage of that event. Make sure to get this Pokemon at Mega Level 3 as quick as possible. Once you defeat Megaaudino, you will get an encounter with Audino. That 100% CP is going to be 961, and the weather boosted CP in partly cloudy weather, it's going to be 1201 CP for that guaranteed hundo. That is our mega raid for this week, but what is going to be our 5-star Shadow raid boss? And it looks like Shadowdialga has finally made its return into 5-star Shadow raids. This is a much better Shadow than what we've had in previous months. It has an attack value of 275, a defense of 211, and a stamina of 205. But it's very important to mention here is that because this is a Shadowdialga, remember Shadow Pokemon get a 20% boost on their attack value, but their defense decreases by 20%. The fact that this is not a Mega Pokemon with a pretty high attack stat, and that's going to be now increased by another 20%, Shadowdialga is going to hit really hard. But look at how many types it resists. Because of that Steel and Dragon typing, it is resisting Water, Steel, Rock, Psychic, Normal, Flying, Bug, Electric, and it's double resisting Grass as well as Poison. Its fast attacks are going to be Dragon Breath and Metal Claw. Its charge attacks are going to be Draco Meteor, Thunder, Frustration, of course because it is going to be a Shadow, which you will be able to remove Frustration at the end of this month because there is going to be a Flying Taxi event surrounding Flying type Pokemon that will be taken over. You can then remove Frustration then on this Pokemon. How this translates as an attacker is fantastic for Shadowdialga. As a Steel type attacker, it's going to be the 7th best in the game with Metal Claw and Iron Head, and because of a really good synergy of Dragon Breath and Draco Meteor, it's actually going to be the 12th best Dragon type attacker in the game, which is fantastic. It doesn't end there though. In the Master League right now, it's currently hovering at around the 40th spot, usually kind of breaking into the top 30 or 40. This is a really good Pokemon to go after, definitely better than the previous Shadows we've had. And last but not least, it is only weak to 2 types, which is going to be Fighting and Ground. So remember to bring along something like a Primal Groudon with Precipice Blades to take this Pokemon down. If you guys want to know the 100% IVs, it's going to be 2307 and non-weather boosted weather, but in snowy and windy weather, it's going to be 2884 CP. If you guys are enjoying the content, we have a massive favor to ask you. Please would you hit that like and subscribe button, but that hype button as well, so we can send this video as far as wide as possible. We really appreciate you guys, but also could you please hit me up on Instagram? I'm trying to get this account to 10K as quickly as possible. If you guys didn't know why, I'm actually an actor. If you guys don't know, the way the castings work around the world right now, especially because it's a lot more global, they really do look at your social following. I know it's a very shallow thing to ask, but there are tons of you watching right now. If you could hit that follow button, I'd really appreciate it. I've done work for the likes of Pringles, Airheads Candy. I've also worked with some top A-listers such as Forrest Whitaker, as well as Shailene Woodley. I'd really appreciate the follow. We're gonna grow this thing together. Let's move on to this research breakthrough box. This is gonna be happening for the entire season, and we have a brand new set of Pokemon here. This is going to be coming from your 7th day stamp. Once you complete your 7th day stamp by completing field research tasks, you will then get a reward encounter with a Pokemon. Those Pokemon are going to be Dragonite at 1625 for the hundo, Axew's in there at 586, Honedge is in there at 595 CP, Jangmo-O is in there at 415. We also have the male as well as the female form of Indeedee there. Their hundo CPs are slightly different. It's going to be 1027 and 1047 respectively, and Cloth is in there as well at 1030. That is the only one that cannot be shiny, at least right now. And let's head back to our calendar again. Please remember that your daily discoveries bonuses have slightly changed, but not completely this season, and I will run through some more details a little bit later. But on Mondays, Fast Track Monday is now not a thing for your Go Pass. It's mainly going to be surrounding max battles and these power spots refreshing more frequently with different Pokemon. But let's get back to our calendar again and let's have a look at Tuesday. This is going to be our first event of the week, which is going to be Spark's Caretaking Quest event. This brings the return of Elekid with a Team Instinct accessory on its arm, and it can be shiny with its special background, which is absolutely incredible. I'm just going to touch on the new Go Pass, which will be happening for this event as well. If you have the free track, you can expect encounters with Jolteon, Galarian Corsola, that Elekid with the Spark themed accessory and the Team Instinct background. And if you do have the deluxe version, you can expect another encounter with Elekid with the accessory with a special background, as well as super incubators and even more premium items. And when it comes to the bonuses of the Go Pass, at tier 1, which is going to be at rank 10, it's going to be half egg hatch distance, and at tier 2, which is going to be at rank 20, it's going to be 1.5 times hatch candy. But if you did buy the deluxe version, you're also going to get 1.5 times Stardust. Because this is pretty much focusing around hatching eggs, we have a featured 7-kilometer egg pool here. Hatching from those eggs, we can see Pichu, Hisuian Quillfish, Galarian Corsola, Elekid, which is not going to be coming with the accessory as far as I understand, Shinx, as well as Varoom. That Varoom is normally only in 12-kilometer eggs. Its shiny was recently released, so this is a good time to go after it a lot quicker, especially because once you reach that tier 1 bonus, it's going to be half the distance, so these eggs are only going to require you 3.5 kilometers to walk, and if you use a super incubator, it's going to be even quicker. We have certain Pokemon spawning in the wild. We can see Bulbasaur, Alolan Raichu, Drowsy, Jolteon, Dratini, Houndour, Lileep, and Combee. The brilliant thing here is that we actually have 3 permanently boosted Stardust Pokemon. Alolan Raichu as well as Jolteon are going to be granting you 300 Stardust per catch, but Combee is the big one here, granting you 750 Stardust per catch, so please throw in those star pieces. It's very important to take advantage, and those spawns are going to be pretty common. We also know all of the Pokemon that are going to be available in field research, which is awesome. We can see Bulbasaur, Drowsy, Jolteon, Dratini, Houndour, Lileep, Combee, Galarian Corsola, and Alolan Raichu. Again, those 3 permanently boosted Stardust Pokemon that we just mentioned, Jolteon, Alolan Raichu, as well as Combee, are going to be in field research, and I have a very big tip that I want to share with you guys, and that's going to be in its own separate video, which I've already done, to be honest. I'm going to leave it in a card above me right here, and I will leave it as the end screen. Big tip there, but what we've also done in that video is pretty much show you why this is going to completely change your GoFest prep, including all the events happening after GoFest. Trust me, watch that video. You can prepare now to get huge Stardust rewards later. The other thing going down on Tuesday is going to be a slight alteration to the daily discoveries bonus. Usually Tuesdays would be featuring showcases and entering up to 20 different categories, but now the slight change they've made is that usually we could only enter a max of 3 showcases. Now we can enter a total of 5. So again, try and enter showcases in some slower areas where there's not a lot of trainers, because we try to chip away at the Platinum Showcase medal, which requires us to win 100 showcases. The other great thing about these showcases is that if you win them, you can get some premium items, especially if you win maybe 3 out of the 5 or even 5 out of the 5. We're talking more super incubators, more star pieces, more lucky eggs, which is absolutely free and cost you nothing. Let's move on to Wednesday now, which is going to be the 3rd of June. It looks like the only thing we really need to worry about there, but it is important, is going to be that raid hour for Reshiram. Remember, this is going to be taking place every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time, and Reshiram will pretty much be taking over raids. It's very important that you take on this raid with a party. The reason why is that party play is going to double your damage in raids, which means you can take them down a lot quicker, which means you can get more numbers in this raid hour, especially if you are not remote raiding and you're only doing them in person. I would also strongly recommend having White Kyurem's Ice Burn Adventure effect in the background, because it is going to increase the catch rate on these Pokemon by 1.5 times, which can also be stacked with a Platinum Dragon Tamer medal, because this is also going to increase your base catch rate for dragon types, which means this is all going to stack to try and make these Pokemon as quick to catch as possible. And of course, you need to be using those Ultra Balls as well. That shiny rate is beautiful, coming with a 1 in 20 shiny. Please raid Reshiram. As we told you earlier, still one of the best Pokemon in the game. Let's move on to Thursday now, which is going to be the 4th, and the one thing I want to highlight here is going to be Go Battle Thursdays. It is going to be continuing this season, which I think is incredibly important. The reason why is that on Thursdays, you can do up to 10 sets per day, which is 50 battles per day, but at 4 times Stardust rewards. If you guys have not played Go Battle League, trust me, winning a lot of battles, even 3 out of 5, 4 out of 5, and of course 5 out of 5, as you progress through the ranks, gets you some really good Stardust gains. If you throw in a star piece as well, this is a really easy way on Thursdays to get really easy Stardust. More than that though, we have mentioned this in recent weeks, we've had a ton of community members send us results of all the Pokemon they are getting off that free reward track. Guys, it's absolutely free. We're talking Groudons. One of our community members got a Hundo Zacian for his Crown Sword Zacian. These are some of the best Pokemon in the game, which is why I really want to encourage you to get into Go Battle League. You don't have to love it, but to be honest, as you get more more into the details, it actually becomes pretty addictive. The editor of this channel, Juzzy, actually got his Hundo Machamp, which is one of his favorite Pokemon, so I would strongly encourage that. Then moving on to Friday, I can happily announce that Friendship Fridays will be continuing. I'm gonna make a huge deal about this every single week. I don't care if it gets annoying, because the reason why is that we've had the proof. We've seen the results. We've seen other trainers get incredible Pokemon just simply by trading. Let me explain what Friendship Fridays are gonna look like this season. We can make one additional special trade per day, which is a total of 2. Trades are gonna cost 10% less Stardust. We get a guaranteed XL candy on trades on these Fridays. And last but not least, this is very important, every single trade you make on this day is going to have an increased chance of going lucky. This is so important. I've also had community members reach out to say that they got almost 20 luckies in 100 trades. If you guys weren't aware, you can do up to 100 trades per day in Pokemon Go. You really want to be doing as many as you can on Fridays because of that huge increased lucky chance. But when you do a special trade, which is shiny Pokemon as well as legendary Pokemon, or a shiny legendary Pokemon, guys, that chance is incredibly high. I have left these results on screen before, but have a look at some of these trades we've got. We've got a Hundo Sinistcha. Unfortunately, it was the phony form, but again, lucky Hundo. We got a lucky Hundo Magikarp, lucky Hundo Tinkaton from the Tinkaton Calm Day. Trade your Pokemon. To be honest, this is the most underrated and the most underutilized thing in the game. Not enough trainers do it. I'm begging you to do this, please. In fact, I'm not begging, I'm ordering you. If we cast our eye back to our calendar again, you can see there's not too much going on the weekend. However, on Sunday, they have made a change to the daily discovery bonus there, where it was double time Sunday, where lure modules and incenses would last for double the time. However, it's now changed to Scenic Sunday, and these are going to be the following changes. More Pokemon are going to be spawning on routes. When you use an incense during a route, there's going to be boosted Pokemon spawns, and you can also encounter Mateo 3 times on this day, which is very important because, as we know, following routes as well is our best chance of getting Zygarde cells. Hopefully you can collect more than 3 on this day. Who knows? Probably not, but they've definitely got this from Sustainability Week, which took place a couple of months ago. Routes during that event were incredible, spawning things like Lapras with a shiny boost, Trubbish with a shiny boost. These were incredible features, and to be honest, I think they saw such positive results here, which is why they've changed Sunday into Scenic Sunday, much better than what they had last season. Also, as of releasing this video, we are still in the middle of Blanche's Quest for Knowledge event, which is fantastic. I'm going to leave a card above me right here because we have detailed that event as well, and you guys really enjoyed that video as well. We also now know the full field research tasks of what's going to be happening during this event. I'm not going to say them one by one, but I'm just going to leave them kind of running on screen right now. There are some incredible Pokemon here that can be very rare, but most importantly, I want you guys to stack these Pokemon as well. We have a big tip that I have shared in that video, but we also have Spark's Caretaking quest, which is going to be taking place in a couple of days as of the release of this video, and we've done that video as well. Please smash that like and subscribe button as well as that hype button so we can send this video as far as wide as possible. Hit that Instagram button as well. It's going to be at Mikey McKenz. I will leave it in the description. Let's try and get that to the 10K mark as quick as possible. Love you guys. Go with us, and we'll catch you on the next one, baby. Thanks so much for watching. Shh.